I've gone right off Dembele's. It's done. We're finished. Me and the Dembele family are finished. It's over. No more. No more. I'm done with all of that. Do you see him winking? Not good at all last night. Actually, very good last night. But it was like a pantomime. It was like a pantomime. We had 3 major pantomime villains as far as I'm... sorry, I just had to check something. As far as I'm aware, 3 major pantomime villains. You have to excuse me, a bit hoarse, a bit ropey today after lots of shouting. Wasn't just me. The atmosphere in there was really good. Heard a few people say it wasn't as good as Sevilla. Well, it's not going to be, but it was still good. In fact, I've digged the footage up from somewhere. I've definitely got, I saved up, recorded it on my phone. The chorus of bubbles at the start. We've got fireworks now in the stadium as well. So it started off well. Look, the crowd were there. The 3 pantomime villains. Sorry, that's what I was saying, wasn't it? The referee, Dembele, and a fan that ran on the pitch. Well, 2 fans actually ran on the pitch, but there was one of them in particular who killed a bit of momentum. It was hard for us. We've gone down to 10 men. You don't need me to tell you in this particular video about what happened in the game. You've watched the game. You've seen highlights. You'll have listened to other people talk about it. You'll have read the report in the newspaper. You know everything. So I just want to discuss it from the point of view of me being inside the stadium and watching the game. It felt to me, when the fan ran onto the pitch, like we had momentum. We had an attack, and because we'd gone down to 10 men, the attacks were very precious. You know, it was hard for us to get forward, and there was so much resilience and sort of back to the wall stuff from the players that any time that we were going to get forwards was going to be a rare foray into opposition territory, if you want. The guy ran onto the pitch. Now, I've heard since that he was going on to punch the referee. Didn't seem like that at the time. I must be honest. It didn't seem like he was making a beeline straight for the referee. It seemed like he was just having a jolly old good time. Now, I don't want to go too much into him personally because, quite frankly, I think he's screwed, really, let's be fair. It's not just he'll get a football ban in order. I think it's almost impossible because the fans were so angry with him because it broke up one of our attacks. Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence. We were attacking, him running on the pitch broke up one of the attacks. Gave the referee, one of the other villains who we'll get to in a minute, another excuse to blow his whistle. Talk about not reading the room. So it's going to be really hard for this kid to go back to football at West Ham at all, ever, anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's very unpopular. West Ham are going to get a fine as well. We don't need this. You know, we talk about not having enough money for transfers, this, that and the other. And look, will it cost us the money for a new striker? No, it won't. But, you know, don't be surprised if we get a £100,000 fine or something like that. It's a week's wages for a player. Don't need it. Also, I think it's sort of because there were 2, it cements in UEFA. And I'm not a fan of UEFA at all, but I think it cements in their opinion. It builds into, it plays into the stereotype of the English fan. I think as well. In fact, it happened twice. But I understand anyone being frustrated with a referee. So I only wanted to go on and punch the referee. I get it, didn't we all? But we just don't do it. That's the point. The referee was horrendous. He was absolutely horrendous. I don't really know what to say. I struggle with these games. I really do. You might remember, if you're a regular watcher of this channel, by the way, if you're not a regular watcher of this channel, you watched it for the first time, or you do watch these videos, you're not subscribed, could you please subscribe? Because next to the subscribe button is a little bell. If you ping that and you enjoy these videos, then it'll just deliver them to your phone. It'd be really much appreciated. Thank you very much. But if you've been watching this channel for a while, do you remember when PSG played Man City? I've got no love for Man City, you know this, or PSG or anything like it. It was on and I watched it. And I rarely speak about other clubs and just as that's the video in its entirety. But it frustrated me so much, I had to come and say something about it. It was the play acting, it was terrible. Then we played Brentford. I've got to go and do the review for that, by the way, later on. That ain't gonna be good because it stuck with me how much they cheated. And then Aston Villa, you'll remember that as well, was really bad. And I thought, thankfully we won that game, the Aston Villa one. So I felt the honest team won. Last night, you had a really dishonest team then. Now, I don't think they were any worse, by the way. I don't think Lyon were worse than Aston Villa or Brentford. What you had was a referee who was allowing it to happen. The referee's only meant to stop the play for a head injury. I mean, literally, the guy at one point, one of them was holding his leg. The referee still stopped the play. It was terrible. And here's my angst with the stadium. Now, the stadium was loud and it was raucous. It really was. But what it's not is personal. So it's not intimidating. So it is loud. It's great. I'm sure it makes the hairs on the back of the players' neck stand up when they walk out. But we couldn't put any pressure on a referee who was, I would suggest, partisan. And that's me trying to pick my words carefully. Anything Lyon wanted, Lyon got. And that's how it seemed. And as I understand it, I want to, again, pick my words carefully now. This is a referee with a checkered past. This is a referee, if you go and research who it was and go and research him. I'm astounded. I'm astounded that he's still allowed to referee. Not because of his performance, but because of what's happened in the past. Do you know what? It's a bit like someone being done for drink driving, but then being allowed to drive a bus. You know, it's a weird thing. Before I go any further on that note, this video is sponsored by the One Football app. You can read more and more about this West Ham game by downloading the One Football app, which is in the link below. It gives you all the stats. It will tell you everything you need to know. It probably won't make a comparison to a drunk bus driver, but it puts all West Ham news into one place for you. It'll have all the news you need and ahead of the return leg, ahead of the Brentford game. You can download it by using the link below. Use that QR code right up there just when you sign up, because it is free. So I support West Ham, and it will search all the newspapers, all the websites, and put all the West Ham information together for you. Referee, I haven't finished with the referee yet, by the way. It was just terrible. The referee needed no excuse. The sending off was a real blow to West Ham. And I do wonder if sometimes we're too honest for our own good. Don't get me wrong, I don't want us to start playing like the other teams do. I don't. I wouldn't want it. I understand that Aston Villa fans and Brentford fans and so on are not going to come out and say, oh no, we're a really bad team and I don't like it. Of course they're going to love their football. Of course Brentford got to do what they got to do. Aston Villa have got to play in a way that Steven Gerrard feels that they should play, whatever. And I understand that. It's not the fans I'm digging out. But I just don't want us, don't try to be holier than thou. I just don't want us to play like that. And I like to think I've been consistent in that. And I wouldn't call it, in fact, if you're a patron, you will know that in the patron breakfast, Gio said to me before this game, and he was talking about when Aaron Cresswell kicked the ball against Richarlison, or, kicked Richarlison, he said, Gio said, do you think that was a red card? I said, yeah, I did actually. I thought he probably could have gone. He put himself in an awkward situation. I've got no problem saying Cresswell deserved the red card. I just don't think he did them. I don't think he did in this instance. And it gave the referee an opportunity that we didn't need to give him. Could it have been avoided? Yeah, okay. He didn't need to touch his arm. But the way the fella threw his arm down, look, Dembele doesn't care. Dembele doesn't care that he's not ever going to play for West Ham, but I mean, he couldn't now anyway. He's become a pantomime villain. I only pick him out because he's been linked with the club so many times. And then he gives it the old wink, doesn't he? Gives it the old Ronaldo wink. Not impressed, don't like it at all. I guess it worked. Cresswell got sent off. Also, the way he ran across Cresswell meant Cresswell was going to do... There was going to be some contact in some way. I thought it was quite a clever movement. The first thing he did was he ran away from Kurt Zouma. That being said, referee needed no excuse to penalise West Ham. The referee was wanting to favour Lyon and penalise West Ham in that game. It was a terrible, terrible performance. David Moyes already said I'm not discussing the referee. He didn't discuss the referee. I'm going to... But we're in it, okay? We're in it. I was really nervous before the game. Bumped into a few people on the way to the ground. People were watching videos, and they said to me, oh, you're making me nervous. So I apologise for that. I was nervous ahead of this game. I was just more confident against Sevilla. I'm not saying I could predict it. That was going to happen. Far from it. But now, I'm not just saying this because I spoke to people. Now I think we got the... it's going to sound so pretentious, but there's no way of saying it. I feel like we've got the... good on our side. I think we've got the ethics on our side, because I just felt everything else was just cheating. I thought Lyon were cheating. I thought the referee was biased. And I feel wronged. Does that make sense? I actually feel wronged by everything I saw on that pitch that night. And And, you know, it's... Look, it ain't good. It ain't good. There's a lot of people that make a lot of sacrifices to go to these games. I know a lot of people who took the Thursday and the Friday off work, out their holiday or whatever. They get 28 days holiday throughout the year. They've used two of them for that. You know, people, you know, take half a day's wages so they can spend the rest of the day going to West Ham. I cut my holiday short to go on. I've been away, cut my holiday short, come back. So lots of people did lots of things, travel long distances. Some even fly over, and then you know the referees plays like that. The Muppet runs on the pitch and does anyway. It was frustrating, really, really frustrating. But I think we can go over there and do them. I really do, because we've got. But we were almost disgusted by it, and that disgust that we had was typified by Craig Dawson. Now, I know I'm a bit of a Craig Dawson fanboy, all right, and I make no apologies for it. I don't. But there, if you watch the end of that game, there was a man, and I'll say this now. They were. It was a man saying, "I've had enough. Have some of that. Have some of that. And by the way, here's another tackle, and have some of that as well. I'm going to send you flying when I'm doing it because I've had enough." Because let's be fair, they were playing like babies. The Lyon team were playing like babies. I mean, it was a windy night. Let's be fair, they were falling over, clutching their legs, clutching their limbs. These are not rough, tough, and ready people. These are not. And I feel that we've now seen adversity. And actually, I think it's time for us to go and give them a little bit of adversity. Because I tell you what, no wonder they got such a porous, leaky defence. Because when the going gets tough, I said this in the Aston Villa game. It doesn't. I hope it must. It's really important that this tactic doesn't work, that falling over. And I know it does at the high levels of the European game. I have to believe that actually resilience and determination and everything that was typified by Dawson, by the way, and may I say Antonio, up front on his own. Thankless task, thankless role. Well done, mate. And many others, by the way. There were many good performances, but this isn't really, as I say, a match review. It's just an overview of what I saw and what I thought there. But there was just the timing of Dawson's double tackle and then the one that followed it, I felt was perfectly timed and tapped into the mood of the stadium. And that was how everybody was feeling. Everyone had enough. It was take that, and bash, have a bit of that as well. But it was a good night. It was a good night. There's no doubt about that. I'm less nervous. I feel like we've looked into the eyes of the beast, and there's not a lot to be scared of. We can beat them. We can certainly beat them with 11 men, and we can certainly beat them with Lanzini back. There's an obvious substitution there, which I'll go into for Lanzini to come back, which I'll go into in the preview. And I'll tell you what, I'll talk more about a couple of the players in tomorrow's video. Let's leave it there because we've already done 13 minutes on this one. Frustrating, a lot to be annoyed about, lots to get your teeth into. But I think there's a lot of motivation within that frustration. I think there's a lot of motivation in there anyway. Right, anyway, I'll catch you later. Thank you, by the way, Danny at half time popped down. He was with his mate. Sorry, I can't remember the mate's name. Danny's a patron. He popped down and he showed me, because at half time I hadn't seen the Cresswell incident. He managed to get it up on his phone and he showed me, and we were all equally disgusted by what we'd seen. Very, very minimal contact. Anyway, catch up with you tomorrow.